All right, my friends, welcome to episode 269 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony, the dev at Summer Speak. How are you this fine weekend?
Good. Not really looking forward to going back to work.
Have you had the whole week off?
No, I took Wednesday off as well.
Oh, okay.
So I gave myself, a 5-day weekend.
Right. Very nice.
But, yeah, I love my job, but still would rather not be doing it sometimes.
Yeah, it's a conflicting feeling because, sometimes I've felt similar, and I think there are a lot of people who've lost their jobs this year, so I'm just thankful to have it. But sometimes I'm just a little tired.
Yeah, I think that's mostly it. It's just being like, it's getting to the end of the year. Wife and I were talking about how it's getting to a point where, like, man, normally we would have done some form of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
We've done none. So time really has become having no meaning. Like, days just kind of blur together, and this year has just blurred together. That's just kind of like, yeah, it'd be nice if we could just change things up, even if it was just at home, to just give ourselves a different feeling, at least for a couple weeks, like just different, something memorable.
Yeah, it's not broken up into events, so
No.
We're thinking back, and everything is just like, we had a Zoom event with friends last night, a kind of a Jackbox party night, and we were reflecting that we are in our living room with our daughter, probably, and this is not this is pretty accurate, 70% of our day is spent in that room.
Yep.
That's where we do all of our make-believe and play and everything, and then my wife and I sitting there and watch TV at night, and it's like, okay, so between March 13th, which is when we started this, and now we've been in this room 70% of the time, it's hard to differentiate which day was which month was which. July was the same as May,
Yep. It's just kind of one big blob of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just weighs on you after a while. So
yeah, sure does.
We're trying to think of a safe and right way to go about just giving a little bit of a shake up to that, at least around Christmas time, the holidays. Just be like, we're not going to have family over or anything, but is there something we could do to make it actually seem like an event,
right,
and memorable? Because I think it's just important right now.
Yes, it is. I mean, I don't know if it's happening up there, but down here, people have elected to, even before Thanksgiving, they were just like, fuck it, we're putting up Christmas trees, putting up the Christmas decorations.
Oh, yeah. It's been insane up here. Like, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, doing my normal, like, all right, driving around West Seattle neighborhoods and stuff, doing my grocery shopping, and yeah, people had Christmas trees up, they had lights up. People were not waiting. They need that little bit of happiness and joy, and they're gonna take it.
Right, and especially if you're it's not even like nihilism anymore, but like, I might not be here in a month, so let's just start it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. We put ours up much earlier than normal, which was the day after Thanksgiving. We usually wait a couple days, but
we haven't yet. We'll do it next weekend. We haven't done early. We're just like the week after Thanksgiving, we go get our tree and then set up all of our decorations.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird times, really weird times right now.
Super strange. But, there's hope on the horizon, I think, with vaccines, so we'll see.
I agree.
Yeah. The opposite of hope on the horizon is a game called Darkwood, which is billed as a new perspective on survival horror. This is from the Humble Bundle for November, so if you're interested, I will never play this game. On Steam, it is FJKG02WJ897KVI0. Again, that's Steam. Enjoy. So this episode, Anthony and I are going to run through the Game Awards categories and nominations and do our normal yearly discussion of what we think will win and what we hope will win, which I think sometimes are the same and sometimes different. We'll skip any categories that we don't know much about, like esports for the most part, probably a couple others. Do you want to start with the game of the year and roll down kind of how it is presented on the website?
Yeah, I'll just do it on the page.
Okay.
Why not?
Sounds good.
So I'll start. So game of the year. This is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. We have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. So one diverse set of games here, I will say.
Yeah. And I like how they framed it as the best experience across creative and technical fields, because sometimes, I don't know, you think about Game of the Year in terms of the best story or the best direction or the best whatever. This is like every creative bit of this, the art style, the presentation, along with the music, the, frame rate possibly as well. Everything, it's kind of nice. Of these, which ones have you played?
So I've played Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing. I've watched all of The Last of Us Part 2. I will never play The Last of Us Part 2. I knew that starting out. I'm never playing that game. Yeah. But I did watch an entire playthrough of it. And I have not played Doom Eternal.
I'm the same, except for I haven't watched Last of Us Part 2. I just purchased it with the Black Friday sales that Sony was doing. So $30 was a nice price for that game. I'm looking forward to the PS5 enhancements, the loading specifically. So I have never played that one, seen probably a third of the story, and then I've never seen or played Doom Eternal.
Yeah. I looked at this and was going through, and I think there's definitely, when we look back on the year, just from a standpoint of 2020, I think Animal Crossing is going to be an incredibly important game in the year, but it's not my game of the year.
Yeah.
It has too many, this is where I'd say technical faults. The networking sucks so much. If that whole thing had been smoother, there are places where the TDM is excessive in the game.
Yes.
Specifically in lots with the crafting, where there's a lot of quality of life stuff that could be done there to make it a little bit smoother in that regard. So I think it's an incredibly important game. I just don't think it's game of the year. When I looked at this, my game of the year is Hades.
Yeah.
Done. It, like, when you all creative and technical fields, I'm like, yeah, that's the game. I don't think it's going to win. I think Last of Us 2 is going to win, but I think Hades hits all the marks.
For me, I had the same discussion about Animal Crossing, where I initially thought, yes, this is it. And I thought, no, it's the most important game of the year. I really think that, but it's not the game of the year. If you're thinking about technical, creative, I mean, in terms of creative, it does a lot of things older Animal Crossing games did. It's just, and the tedium, man. Like in crafting specifically, where it asks you the same question a million times, like, yes, I want to keep going. Like, stop. Just let me do the thing. Let me tick the 5 things I want to craft and let me do it all at once. Things like that. But man, it's so important. I agree with you that I think that Last of Us 2 is, I think, the favorite, but I'm going to call an upset and predict that Hades actually wins this category. I hope that's true. For me, in my personal game of the year, and we'll have this discussion later, obviously, it's between Hades and Ghost of Tsushima, and even right now, I'm having a hard time deciding.
I can see that. Those 3, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades were the 3 that really vied for it in some ways. I think Ghost of Tsushima is better than the FF7 Remake, in my opinion. The FF7 Remake is pretty incredible, but I think Ghost of Tsushima is just a cleaner experience overall. The 7 Remake I enjoy a lot, but it has a few areas that probably could have been trimmed out, cleaned up, but so yeah, honestly, the only game here, I don't think Animal Crossing will win. I don't think Doom Eternal will win.
Yep.
The other ones in this category, any of them probably could win in some way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I have a hard time seeing Ghost of Tsushima winning just because it does come across as like maybe one of the best open world, but very much the amalgamation of everything that's been done in the last 7-8 years in that space. Just done, I think, to perfection. Something. It's Last of Us 2 or Hades. It's one of those two that are doing new things, pushing forward the genre or the medium, I think.
I would agree.
But I'm thinking Hades. So we'll see.
Crossing my fingers. Yeah. I would hope. I really want to see Supergiant get this.
Yeah, they deserve it they deserve it for this game by itself, but having had so many really good games. Next one is Best Game Direction, which is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, we have Ghost of Tsushima, we have Hades, we have Half-Life Alyx, and we have Last of Us Part 2. Of these, it's still the same. Tsushima and Hades are the only ones that I've played.
I've played, FF7, Tsushima, Hades. I've watched a bunch of Half-Life Alyx.
Okay.
I don't have the controllers to play it, but I do. I was very curious how that was going to work out. And I watched all of The Last of Us Part 2. Again, because I will never play that game. Fuck that. I appreciate it so much, but it is definitely not a game for me to play.
I can't play it. Oh, man. Creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. What do you think?
For me, I thought about this a lot, and I hadn't played it, but I think it's Alyx.
Yeah.
It was by far the most innovative VR game I've ever seen. Even just watching a person play it, just everything they do there. And it's when I'm thinking about like push innovation and design and direction, I'm like, yes, that's what it did. It's Valve doing what Valve does. Ghost, I don't think, is an innovative game.
Right.
It is a tuning of a bunch of stuff. Hades, I would say, is also, it innovates on a genre. I will give it that. But I think it's a refinement of a genre, not a crazy new thing. Really pushing the medium forward. And honestly, 7 Remake, I don't know. Like, I think that falls in the same with me with Last of Us 2. On similar things, they're incredibly well-directed game, but they're not super innovative overall. Like, I didn't see anything watching Last of Us Part 2 from a gameplay standpoint that was like incredibly innovative. Narratively, it's very innovative, but
the only thing I wonder about that is, does accessibility play into this category at all?
They have a whole category for accessibility later on.
Okay, so it might not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, that can be a piece of it. Yeah. I think it definitely innovates in that. It does, it had some ridiculous amount of options, like 40 plus accessibility options.
I mean, they really worked with consultants on that in a really nice way.
They did. That was really good. Yeah, but I think from everything I've seen, to me, I really thought Half-Life Alyx was just pushed things, especially for VR, way farther than anything has done before. It makes me sad that I don't have the motion controllers to play it.
Right. Yeah, for me, I'm in the same boat. I think it's going to be Alyx. And I think it should be Alyx because of what I've heard. Same things that you've said, but what I've heard on other podcasts from people who've played it and read on forums or whatever. Like, it really does seem like the vision and innovation is higher in this game than the rest in this category. I'm not sure enough people played it to be able to vote for it. And if I for some reason can see even though I haven't played it, and you know more about it than I have, Final Fantasy VII Remake winning this because they just seem to completely change 7 into this very different looking game with a somewhat different narrative, and different battle mechanics, although you can choose classic, I assume. I just feel like there is a lot of innovation there, not in terms of like this is a different kind of game that's ever been done before, but like to innovate on what Final Fantasy VII was and to come up with this seems to stand out to me.
It might, actually. I could see it winning, potentially.
So but that's my vote. My vote is 7 will win. Alex should win.
To win, yeah.
But I agree with your comments on the rest, for sure.
Next is the one, best narrative. And this one was hard for me to even think about. For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. First is 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, a game I actually really want to play. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. I think Last of Us Part 2 is going to win this.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it would be the 7 remake, even with its twist to the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It's still I don't think it's. I want to be nice about it. It's a fun JRPG narrative. I wouldn't call it an incredibly, amazingly strong narrative. Especially towards the end, it just gets insane and confusing, and that's like they always do.
Right,
so
totally. Sounds like a Final Fantasy game.
Ghost of Tsushima is good. I will not say anything wrong about that. I enjoyed what I've played of it so far, and I felt had strong narrative. It never. I would say it never was like. When I think of like really strong narratives like Witcher 3 or anything like that, it never hit those levels for me.
Yeah, for me it didn't have.
It was well written and presented well, but it wasn't huge. Oh my god, stand out.
Yeah, it didn't have the peaks. Like it didn't have any valleys either. It just felt very level.
Yeah. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about 13 Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Vanillaware, who did Odin Sphere,
right.
Dragon's Crown. Like, it's a game I clearly need to play because everyone that I know that has played it has talked about how it is a visual novel with mecha tactical stuff going on, and like repeating this has like a repeating the same time frame thing going on. And they say it's just the way the story unfolds is incredible. So, I don't know. Eventually, it's one I'll probably look for around a sale over the holidays, potentially.
Yeah, it's one that I've heard several people talk about on different podcasts that I listen to, and I like didn't even know what it was, and then I've heard it. After you hear it on like the 6th podcast, you kind of look into it, and hearing that it was a visual novel with some interesting gameplay elements, I was interested in. And I saw it was on sale right now for $40, and I was like, oh, maybe. But then this is my category. Like, this is the category that I look forward to the most, and to see it in this category makes me understand that I will eventually play it. I don't know if enough people have played it for it to win this one. It feels like this is Last of Us 2's category.
Yeah, I think it's The Last of Us 2. I think Hades does a great job in its storytelling and is very innovative in its storytelling. But I don't think that wins at the category overall. But I like to see that something that is done that presents narrative in such a unique way is in this category. Because it is such a different way to get your narrative in that game.
Well, it's crazy to see Supergiant just like swinging with like all the big publishers here,
Yeah. It's true. Like between 13 Sentinels and Hades are definitely like the smaller. I mean, 13 Sentinels is an Atlas game.
Right.
So somewhat big. I don't know. Would it consider Atlas mid-tier publisher?
Yeah.
But yeah, Hades self-published little game from a studio of 20, 25 people tops.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's Last of Us is probably going to get it here.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big game, and I'm not sure if Last of Us is going to win. It's a big game nominated for a lot of categories, but it feels like this and accessibility are the two that are really locked up for it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Next category is Best Art Direction, and this is for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. And we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2.
A lot of the same games showing up here.
Seriously. It's like Ghost, Hades, and Last of Us 2, and 7. Yeah, basically every single category. I just picked up Ori on sale on Steam. I'm looking forward to digging into that, but I'm sure it's, from what I've seen, it's like Ori 1, but better. Art style, there's more stuff going on screen. Just quickly looking at these, Hades stands out the most to me. And I think from like a technical perspective, Ori does as well. But man, the forests in Ghost of Tsushima, the Kurosawa mode in Ghost of Tsushima, there's a lot.
I definitely think that Ghost gets the technical achievement part. Like, it does a lot technically. Even far more than The Last of Us Part 2. I think The Last of Us Part 2 looks incredible, but Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Will of the Wisps are like, to me, a tier above FF7 Remake and Last of Us Part 2. Mostly because they're incredible. They truly are pushing their art direction. Very stylized, very distinct.
Right, because Last of Us is going for photorealism and does it in such an amazing way. But that's when I think about art direction, it's hard for photorealism to stand out when I'm looking for more stylized in this category.
Yeah. Man. This would be, I mean, I just put down Hades anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in love with it. Overall, maybe it's because also I've watched a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff and seeing how they, on the technical side to me, also how they translate the 2D art to make 3D models in the game. Like, all the characters and enemies are 3D models.
Wow.
So much of this game is actually all 3D. It's not 2D sprites, but it looks like 2D.
What's the advantage of making a 2D model for a 3D model for a 2D game?
It's far easier to animate.
2.5D, I guess. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
A 3D model is so much, like, in a 3D world like this, like, if it's 2D, it becomes really hard. It looks very paper dolly, and you don't want that in this stuff. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I guess look at like Diablo 2, isometric. Like, you have to, all those are 2D sprites, and you get that weird, like, having to, all the 2D sprites, so it can be at, I think, 8 different directions facing, all tiled, so just kind of how the camera's looking at, how the sprite gets drawn. So it kind of is not as smooth. If they do in 3D, you can make it very smooth animation and attack, which they needed for this game.
Right.
But there are definitely times when I was watching my scene, I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize that some of this was all 3D. Like, parts of this were 3D. When they looked just like they were hand-drawn 2D. But,
yeah.
So, Ori always looks beautiful. I'll give it that, though.
Yeah, I just come down to, like, I shouldn't think this, but I think about, like, okay, of these games, which ones did the judges play? And I feel like more people played, I think the judges played Ori the least, probably. And
I'll say that.
I don't, maybe that's wrong, but I feel like that hurts it a little bit, even though I think that art style is probably the most gorgeous of all of them. I would probably lean toward Ghost of Tsushima in this category. Even though I think Hades is beautiful and amazing. I think
I would
Ghost might
not be unhappy with Ghost getting it.
I also kind of think about, like, in terms of, Ghost being such a standout game this year, but maybe it's not Game of the Year and maybe it's not Best Narrative. Like, do they want to award it something? Like, that's hard when it's an aggregate vote. It's just a ton of judges voting, but I could see it winning here and nowhere else, basically.
Yeah, I can see that. Next, we have Best Score and Music. For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. We have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2.
This isn't even hard.
Yeah, it's not hard for me at all. Hades, hands down.
It's Hades.
100%.
Yep. I mean, I cannot stop listening to the soundtrack. It is so original, right?
Yeah. Aaron Korb knocked this one out of the park.
It's not even a question. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like watching all of The Last of Us Part 2, I don't even remember the music in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not memorable, unfortunately. It's there and it's good for the scenes, and like there's a few standout, like, oh yeah, the guitar pieces that happen here and there, and you're like, cool, they've done some guitar, but the actual like score of the game isn't meant to stand out. That's just not the type of game it is. It's meant to just kind of be in the background. I haven't played. I know Doom Eternal is a lot of metal.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised to see it here simply because if I recall correctly, there was a lot of issues about Mick Gordon's work on this and how it had to be. It might have been.
Oh, right.
Was it this one or the original Doom 2016?
Oh, it might have been the original one.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, never mind. I can understand why it would be nominated, just in terms of what the music sounds like. It fits the game perfectly, and it's fucking metal.
Yeah. The 7 remake, they did a great job updating the old MIDI tunes into full orchestral work, and I like some of those songs and stuff. I don't think they're exponentially better anymore. Like, they're still good, but the stuff that stood out to me was the stuff that stood out to me when I played Final Fantasy VII back in '90s.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's Hades.
Yeah, Hades.
This is a Hades category. Next is Best Audio Design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. We have Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and Last of Us 2. I have only played Ghost of Tsushima in this category, so it's hard for me to say conclusively, except for I would probably think that the audio design of Alyx is probably the best, given its VR and is trying to locate you in a virtual space. But
yeah, I mean, to me, it's Alyx, Tsushima, or The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I could see the stealth sections of Last of Us 2 being.
They did just watching that playthrough and play. They do a lot of good stuff with audio in that game. A lot, and it's cool. I do like the audio in Ghost of Tsushima, though.
Yeah, I do.
They do a lot of subtle uses of audio in that game. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with any of those winning.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. I think Ghost will win. I may be wrong, but I think they'll give it to Ghost here. I think most people played it, and I think it stands out more than the audio of The Last of Us Part 2. And I just don't know how many people have played Alyx, unfortunately.
It's like, if enough people have played Alyx, I think it's Alyx, but if that's not the case, then I would go with Ghost as well.
All right. What's next?
Best performance.
Best performance awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and or performance capture. You have Ashley Johnson as Ellie in Last of Us Part 2, Laura Bailey as Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima, Logan Cunningham as Hades in Hades, and Naji Jeter as Miles Morales in Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Are you surprised that it's Hades that's in this category and not
Zag?
Yeah.
Or kind of. I kind of also feel like this is their way of giving a nod to Logan Cunningham, who's been the main voice actor in every Supergiant game.
Yeah, right.
He probably has a good chunk. Hades himself in that has a huge chunk of dialogue, voice lines. So, yeah, I'm surprised it's him, and he does a great job with it. I don't think he wins this category, though. Honestly, the other four are really good. I'm trying to think of what really stands out to me. I think Laura Bailey as Abby. She did an incredible job with that character. To hate that character so much, but also understand that character.
Right. Yeah, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage with Ghost because I played it entirely in Japanese.
Okay,
so you didn't hear Daisuke until I'm doing a New Game Plus, and I probably only played like half an hour of it with his voice. He sounds great, but I did the Japanese. Naji Jeter as Miles Morales, I thought was really good. But not at
everything
the level.
I've heard there is good.
Yeah, but it's not at the level of Ashley Johnson or Laura Bailey. They're like master class voice actors. So
can we just give both an award?
I wish. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna come down to those two, and it's a coin flip for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Like I just chose Loris in that just because of the dark horse of a character that she's playing.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Ashley for the opposite reason, just to be different.
Yeah.
Next one is Games for Impact, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Again, I think I said the same thing last year. I don't know what pro-social means, but the categories or the games here are If Found, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, Spiritfarer, Tell Me Why, and Through the Darkest of Times.
I've only ever played a little bit of Spiritfarer.
And I've seen bits of Kentucky Route Zero. I own it and really want to play it, but that doesn't help. And then Tell Me Why.
I don't know. I don't have anything I can really vote for here, although that I'm going to go through this list of these things and put more time into each of these games.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't have anything. I can't vote.
Yeah.
Why don't you do
Best Ongoing?
Yes.
I have awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. We have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky.
I know what I want to win, and I know what I think will win.
I know what I want to win. I don't know what will win, though. I think we both have the same thing we want to win, potentially.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
It is such an insane amount of work has gone into that game since it launched and has created a completely new game, honestly.
It is fucking incredible, that game.
Yeah.
On PS5. Dude, I can't wait to talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
And what we're playing.
Honestly, I could theoretically see it winning here. But I have a feeling honestly, I don't know what the other ones it would go to. I don't think it's going to go to Call of Duty.
I think Apex.
Yeah.
I think enough people are playing it, and it's keeping people engaged, and in a way that Destiny's not. I know that they keep releasing story content, but I feel like I hear about Apex way, way more than Destiny.
Yeah, it feels like Apex, whenever they do their season switchovers, does more dramatic things to the gameplay.
I guess unless the Marvel season for Fortnite is gonna sway people.
I've not heard good things about that season.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know, but I've heard heard rumblings of people just being kind of meh about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I picked it up only.
I think that's the thing of Fortnite. Fortnite has had so many seasons. Like, there's plenty of them that are just okay.
Right.
And every once in a while they have a good one that just pops off really well. But
yeah, I picked it up once during the season and finished second. Nope, third. Finished third and felt amazing and didn't play again. But it was weird because like, you know, there are like melee characters now and like all these different weird abilities that change the meta. I think it's gonna be Apex. I hope it's No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Next is Best Indie for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We have Carry On, we have Fall Guys, we have Hades, we have Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer. Of these, I've played Carry On, Fall Guys, and Hades, and I have seen enough of Spelunky 2 to feel confident in how I feel about it. And then Spiritfarer I have not played.
Yeah, I played about an hour of Spiritfarer. Same with Carrion. Played, I think, a couple hours of Fall Guys. And then a bunch of Hades. Yeah, just give it to Hades. Let's just be honest here. To my opinion, I'm just like, give it to Hades.
This is Hades category. I think that Fall Guys, I played probably 15 hours of that game between my wife and I, and super enjoy it for what it is, but it's not.
And I think whenever the voting comes down on this, I could see a world where Fall Guys wins this.
Me too. Yep.
But for me, it's Hades, hands down.
I guess I can't see Hades losing this category and winning like best game or one of the other ones. Like,
yes.
I think that if they're gonna carry one of the other ones, they're gonna carry this one too. But
I would agree.
I can see Fall Guys being, you know, I feel like the its moment is not over, but it's much less in the, I don't know, in the ether than it was.
Yeah.
I think Carry On is a really fun, unique game, and I think that there's a lot to like about it. I would love to see something like that win this category, but I don't think it's going to. Hades is just a fucking juggernaut.
Yeah, it is. Next, we have Best Mobile Game. This is a little weird. For the best game playable on a mobile device, we have Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. Now, I've actually never played any of these.
Neither have I.
I've watched a bunch of Among Us, and so this is where this category is interesting from a conversation standpoint. Among Us came out like 4 years ago, but it only came out on mobile this year because it's so popular.
Right.
And that's why it's in this category. I think it's going to win this category.
I think so too. I think
because they want to give it something.
Yep.
And they can't anywhere else. Because this is definitely like, I don't know if there's a best mobile, not best mobile, best like online game.
Or like
looking at the category. It's in best multiplayer. I guess it's still the same though, because it's multiplayer through the mobile version. Because the Game Awards are pretty strict on their timeline. Like Cyberpunk's not in any of these because when Cyberpunk delayed, they pushed themselves past the cutoff date for being included in this year's Game Awards.
Right. I did also hear that kind of the direction for the Game Awards voting was if a game came out in the past and you still think it fits one of these categories, vote for it and we'll see if it gets enough votes.
There you go.
I think that
makes sense.
I mean, if it just came out on mobile this year, we're actually playing that game this week. Brad's wife is the librarian, and her kids, the teens in her program, really want to do a group game of this, and she's like, I don't know what the fuck it is or how you play it, so can we all learn how to play it together so I can then play it with my teens? So gonna get my wife and Brad and his wife and Travis, and if you're around.
All right.
If you're interested, sometime this week we're gonna play. Sometime after 7:30 or 8. Just see what it's like.
Yeah.
I have it on
yeah.
PC.
Other than that, I haven't played any of these.
No.
Genshin Impact has looked interesting, but I just can't do it.
I feel the same way. Like, I don't want to get hooked into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Best, I think I might skip best community support unless you have a big interest here.
No, I don't. I'm not as involved in knowing about the actual like community support from these studios.
Right.
So
it's like inclusive of social media activity and game updates, patches, and I don't feel like I have enough.
I mean, I know game updates and patches, but I don't know the other stuff.
Yeah.
So
okay. I'll move to best VR AR, which I am real pissed about one game not being on this list. But what we have here for best VR AR is Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. The last one I didn't even know was a game. The other 4 I've heard of, and I've played only Dreams. I am pissed that Mario Kart Live Home Circuit is not on here.
Yeah.
That is a fucking killer AR game. Bullshit.
I agree that one seems like it's missing here.
Yeah.
And it probably should be here.
I mean, it should be on here.
These are all VR games though, right? There's no AR.
There's no AR game here. Unless Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is an AR game, and I don't know what the fuck that is. So.
What the fuck are you? Let me see. It's on Steam. It's
on
VR.
PS4 too. Yeah, it's okay. Great.
Yeah, it's full VR.
Yeah, nope. Okay.
So yeah, there's no AR games on here.
Right. I mean, it's Alex. This is Alex, right?
My guess is Alex is just gonna win this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I haven't played any of them, but I just have a feeling that if we're going for it's notably pushing virtual reality experiences. Alex is the one that's doing it.
Yeah. I mean, the best game experience. I didn't play it, but a lot of the reviews does not lead me to think that Iron Man VR was a great experience in VR.
And Star Wars Squadrons in VR was like cool. You're in an X-wing and stuff, but I know a lot of people that just decided just to stop playing it in VR because it was more annoying than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was cool for a little bit, but then it's like, no, I don't want to deal with this. So yeah, I think it's going to be Alex for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Innovation and accessibility. Recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. You have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, The Last of Us Part 2, Watch Dogs Legion. Last of Us Part 2 wins this.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate, I know that Ubisoft has done a bunch here, and both Watch Dogs Legion and Valhalla have some nice accessibility options to them. Same with Grounded. Has some, whenever I played that a bit, it had some interesting stuff on hey, if you're afraid of spiders, we can
I love that.
change them.
Right.
It has some nice touches. I haven't played Hyperdot, but the thing is Mike, where these games have nice touches for accessibility and have gone a little bit, The Last of Us Part 2 was just insane. Like, the amount that you can change that for accessibility is groundbreaking.
Right.
I also have no clue how any other game is going to even come close to that for years.
Right.
They spent so much time and effort designing their technical systems and their engine to do that stuff. Just to hear the way that you can change all the visuals in crazy different ways. It's not just changes to difficulty, it's just the dozen options for tweaking every little thing about difficulty. Color blindness modes, audio modes, haptic feedback. Yeah.
The audio modes are crazy because they've they've made it so if you can't see, you can still finish the game. Just by audio alone.
Yep. It's ridiculous, and they should win this for that.
Absolutely.
That. Yeah, none of these other games, they've done good stuff, but that's the game that I'm this one should be celebrated if you're going for accessibility, and it should be held up as the pinnacle of that right now.
Yep, absolutely. Next category, best action. The best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. We have Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4. I mean, I think we both think Hades should win this one.
Yeah, probably.
I think there's a lot to recommend Doom Eternal based upon not having played it, but talking to Brad a lot about it, but also hearing podcasts, the way that the combat and the difficulty kind of meld, and it really becomes like a puzzle game in terms of the combat the later you get into the game, and reflexes, of course, too. I think it sounds super interesting. And I haven't played the other ones, although I know, Streets of Rage 4 is a beat 'em up, and Neo 2 is a kind of Souls-like.
Soulsy, yeah. I played the beta for it.
For 2?
I mean,
for 1?
yeah.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fine game. But I don't. It's not enough that made me the I want to play all the Neo game, like Neo. It's no. Yeah, I would probably say Hades, but if anything else is going to win here, I could see this is where Doom Eternal wins.
Yeah, me too.
If they want to give that, if it comes down aggregate that's people feel they want to throw a shout out to Doom Eternal, it would be here.
I just feel like between Doom Eternal and Hades, like if Hades is like 50% combat, 40% narrative, 10% whatever, like I feel like Doom Eternal is like 90% combat. And I feel like that could give it the edge here.
If we have best action adventure, for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, you have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 probably wins this. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it combines combat, traversal, and puzzle solving in a good way.
Yeah.
Although I think Ghost of Tsushima does too with its shrines.
I do. I think Ghost of Tsushima is getting my vote.
Yeah.
But I think Last of Us Part 2 wins.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima would get my vote. I could see a world where Spider-Man Miles Morales wins.
Yeah.
Although the puzzle solving is not there. It's more combat and traversal.
It was funny to see Fallen Order on here. I guess just didn't make it. It came out too late last year for last year's awards. So
it would have won last year. There wasn't a ton of competition last year. So.
But not this year.
Yeah, not this year.
I know.
Sucks for it. Okay. Best role playing game. We've got Final Fantasy VII Remake. We have Genshin Impact, which I am surprised to see that one here. Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Based upon this is Persona 5 Royal. That's gonna win. I would not be surprised to see Yakuza Like a Dragon win if enough people played it. And I don't think they have. Versus Persona 5 Royal has the benefit of sweeping through the people who've actually played Persona 5, even if they haven't played Royal, to understand that it's 5 plus, like better than.
Yeah.
So there's no.
There's something that we argued here: is it really a brand new game or not?
Yeah.
But
right.
I guess enough people, when making nominations through the different media and stuff, were like, no, we want to nominate this one. And I agree because, hands down for me, Persona 5.
Yeah.
Royal. Yeah. One of the best games I've ever played. So, and I've heard really good things about Yakuza Like a Dragon, and the PS5 version of it comes out in the spring, and I'm probably going to get it at some point after that.
Yep.
I've had a friend and a coworker both finish it and say it's absolutely amazing if you love JRPGs. Yep. It is absurd, but in all the right ways.
I cannot listen to a podcast without someone just jizzing all over this game in a really positive way, just really drilling down into why it's superb. Not even it's a good game. It's fucking masterclass level, and it's just okay, you've got my attention. So that's why I think if enough people have played it, I don't think that's the case. I think for sure it's Persona 5. I am surprised to see. I haven't played it, but I am surprised to see Genshin Impact here, and I'm wondering if I don't know something about it, or if there's like a dearth of role-playing games this year, and that one ended up standing out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is role playing in the sense that there are stats that go up and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I might honestly. I could also see Final Fantasy VII Remake winning here,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's new and shiny.
Yeah.
And a lot of people played it.
Right.
It didn't crap on Final Fantasy VII, the legacy of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I think people walked away from it being very happy, except unless the few
Yeah.
people who were, or maybe not few, who were fucked over by the ending, I guess. But I feel like that's additive more than anything else. But I just don't think, I don't see there's any timeline where Persona 5 Royal doesn't win.
Yeah.
Unless people didn't play it, I guess. But they did. It's here.
I think they had.
I could skip the next one.
Yeah, best fighting. I haven't played enough of these fighters.
Yeah. Let's go to best family
to give any kind of opinion.
Yeah, totally.
Best family game. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform, Animal Crossing's New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario: The Origami King. This one, you have a choice.
I know, man. This is hard because I've played 5 of these.
I played 3.
I played everything but Crash 4, and I really want to play Crash 4. This is hard for me. Thinking about what would probably win.
I think Animal Crossing wins this one.
You think it wins best family?
Yeah, I don't personally think it's the best family game, but I think it wins this category.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, I don't,
because I think people instinctively look at it and go for it and don't think through how much of a pain in the ass it is as a family game.
Yeah, to like get your family to play together, that's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
I feel like this is a Fall Guys category.
It could be Fall Guy. I could see that. I'm voting for Minecraft Dungeon because that's what I've had the most fun with my family.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time choosing between Animal Crossing, Mario Kart Live, and Paper Mario, because those are the 3 games that I've put honestly, those 3 games are the 3 games I've put the most time into with my family, which is my daughter. Other than if Astrobot were on here. Like, my daughter just wants me to keep going through the speed levels over and over and over again, and she acts it out while I'm playing it. It's awesome. I would probably, goddamn. Fuck, I have no idea. I think I've had the most fun with Mario Kart Live Home Circuit with her. Because she just fucking races Mario. Like, she just lines up next to Mario and runs past the gates with Mario and tries to beat him. And it's a really fucking awesome AR game. And it's I didn't even know it was gonna I didn't even know it came with a Mario Kart game. I thought it was just race it around and have like augmented shit, but like it actually does. There are like 7 cups with 3 races each, and they're unique. And like there's a course that's Gusty Gales, I think it's called, where like the wind is just blowing across and it just fucking moves your cart like the wind's hitting it. There's some really innovative stuff with that, and we played it this morning, which is, my wife loves it because we have to sweep up the entire first floor of our house so that it doesn't get hair and dirt and shit in it. But have enough people played it, you know, and then Paper Mario, like, fantastic to play through with a young kid. The thing that holds it back for some people, I think, is just the combat system, and it's not an RPG. But if you think about it just as a family adventure game, man, that game fucking rules. But I think you're right. I think it goes to Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I think you could also be right with Fall Guys. But
yeah.
I think it's one of those 2 for sure.
Yeah. It's much easier to play with your family, Fall Guys, than Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
The only reason Animal Crossing was easy for me is because my daughter's just watching, you know.
Watching you. Yeah.
Or
if they want their own island, not happening.
Yeah, exactly. We're not at that stage yet. Although today is the first time where my daughter was interested in taking the controller during Astrobot, during the or I keep saying Astrobot, Astro's Playroom, where you're the frog and you just tilt the controller and pull the triggers. So
Okay.
she wanted to learn. She's like, I want to learn. So I told her how to do it, and she did it. She went through the whole level, just tilting and jumping. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you have something to say about Best Sim Strategy?
I have not played Flight Simulator. I haven't played Desperados 3, but I've played the other 3.
Oh, cool. So the Best Sim Strategy, best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and XCOM Chimera Squad.
Crusader Kings 3.
That's me too.
Flight Simulator might win this one though.
Well, yeah, I think the best sim hands down in this because it's a fucking sim more than the other.
Yeah, and it's gotten a weird legs more than I would have thought. The Microsoft Flight Simulator,
2020. 2020, I think, is one of the reasons why it has some legs.
Yeah. But the time I spent with Crusader Kings 3 was a lot of fun.
Oh my god, so much fun.
The game is so weird.
It is so good.
It's hilarious though.
I hope it wins, but I can see Flight Simulator, which is also a great game, so it deserves it as well.
I can't see Chimera Squad or Gears Tactics doing it. They're fine turn-based tactics games, but neither one of them really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they're good, they're competent, they're good. They're just not great, and they don't do a huge amount of innovation overall. So
yeah, I agree.
I don't have anything to say about best sports and racing.
Nope.
You?
Nope.
Cool. Best multiplayer.
Oh man.
For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. We have Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
No.
Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys, and Valorant.
What do you before you speak about those pieces, what do you think the Among Us devs are thinking to be in this fucking category 2 years after they launched this game?
What the hell happened? I'm gonna say, as soon as that game got popular, they're like, what the hell is happening? I'm sure.
Right.
Like, you don't release a game 2 years ago and then suddenly it just comes out of nowhere. Like, they had written the game off. They were working on their next thing.
Right.
And now they're not.
Right, they canceled it and said, no, we're going to keep supporting this game. Man, what a fucking story. It's crazy.
So I think it's either Fall Guys or Among Us win this. Again, Animal Crossing does not deserve best multiplayer.
No.
Not one bit.
Not at all.
I think it needs to be simpler and easier to do if you want that.
Exactly. I think Warzone loses simply, or doesn't win simply because I don't know if it stands out. It's good as
more
always.
The same.
Exactly, right.
That's kind of how I feel with Valorant as well. Mm-hmm. Like, Valorant is a twist on the CSGO gameplay a bit. I mean, bring Overwatchy powers into CSGO, but it's derivative in that way. Yeah. It's consistent, but it's not great. I think Among Us and Fall Guys do amazing things and have pushed that multiplayer experience farther than any of the others.
Yeah.
I just don't know which one wins, honestly.
I think it's an even split. I think the thing that gives Fall Guys an edge is simply the old awards should go to games that came out this year. I think there are enough people who probably think that Fall Guys wins. Although I would not be surprised if Among Us wins, and I think they both deserve it. So
yeah,
I think
I'm very curious if Among Us wins one of these categories, what the devs for a speech have to say.
Dude, I don't know.
Like, what happened?
Yeah, that's awesome for them. But I agree with you. Animal Crossing should not be on this list.
No.
No Nintendo game should be on this list. Why don't we pop down to best debut game? For the best debut game created by a new independent studio, we've got Carry On, Mortal Shell, Raji, an Ancient Epic. We have Roki, and we have Phasmophobia. And for me, I have only played Raji and Carry On. I have not played Phasmophobia, but I think Phasmophobia might win here for the same reason Among Us might win in a different category. It's just bringing people together in 2020 in a way that other games
I've
are
only
not.
played Carrion from this, but Phasmophobia has been just another force to be reckoned with in the streaming world.
Yep, totally.
It's crazy. I'm like, where are these games coming from that are just this is happening? But yeah, I don't have. I think you're right. I think it's Phasmophobia is the one here. Let's see, Twitch. Where is Phasmophobia on viewers right now? Well, Among Us is the 5th best streaming right now. Phasmophobia is down in the teens right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, debut game. Yeah, it probably goes to Phasmophobia overall. I'd like to see if, like, I didn't play Raji, but it would be nice to go something like that. But because that was Indian Development House, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I believe it did come out first on Switch, and it had some performance issues.
Yeah.
But overall, it's something different, and it was competent. Even slightly better than competent. I could see. I don't see it winning, but I'm glad it's nominated. I definitely understand why it was nominated.
Yeah, I think this is pretty. Phasmophobia is probably winning here.
Yeah.
Mortal Shell is just a sci-fi Dark Souls thing.
Exactly.
It is competent. I did watch enough videos of it to be like, yes, it's competent Souls gameplay. It's not standout Souls gameplay though. And then I think it just got crushed by Demon Souls coming out in that news cycle.
Yeah, totally. I heard people talking about Mortal Shell, but eventually it fell off after like a month. So
yeah. Let's see, is it all esports after this?
All esports.
Yep.
So that was the last one. We have anything to say about?
Yeah.
I think good list.
This is. Go ahead.
I think it was good lists overall.
Yeah. At the top, it did seem like a lot of the same games got nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they shouldn't be. Like, they're all very good games, but it's like, how many categories are going to have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2?
Right.
Like, they're all great games. It's just, to me, some of them, like, was there nothing else that could have also been in some of these categories?
That's what I keep asking myself, going through these lists. Like, is there something that I think's missing from these lists?
Yeah.
From this year. I'm not sure that anything comes to mind. I think that Valhalla came out too late to maybe be in Best Action. I don't think it made Best Action, if I recall from our discussion.
It did not. It made Innovation and Action. No, it made Action Adventure.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Never mind then. I guess. Oh, yeah, Best Action Adventure. Okay, yeah, cool. So I think that I don't feel like there's anything that was left out.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, maybe Astro's Playroom, because if Marvel's Spider-Man, enough people played it. I don't know, I feel like Astro's Playroom should have been at least in family.
Yeah, it's hard to say how people are treating that game.
Exactly. Like, is it just, do they think of it as a tech demo? But a lot of houses or whatever sites reviewed it, gave it a review score. So
yeah,
I don't know. That game is easily on my top 10 of the year. I'm not sure where it lands. It might even be in top 5. So I guess I'm just surprised that's not somewhere. But that's probably the only one that stands out for me as missing.
Yeah.
I guess some people would say Demon's Souls, maybe. But
yeah, I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised Demon's Souls is not there. What is their cutoff date for nominees? Did they say? FAQ and rules. What was the last day a game could come out? It could be included on this list. When?
But Miles Morales came out the same day as Demon's Souls, so. Oh, you know what the issue with that is, though? Miles Morales, people had codes 2 weeks early, a week and a half early. Demon's Souls, no one had a code till the day before it came out.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Each round, blah. Trying to see if it had to come out on or before November 20th.
Right. So Demon's Souls did.
Oh wait, yep. So yeah, I think Demon's Souls potentially might have should have been on like action adventure maybe, or role playing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just because of how many people have been talking about how amazing it is.
Right.
And it looks gorgeous and seems to be a pretty incredible update to that game.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's definitely, we talked about my 5 hour thing. I will certainly hit 5 hours by the end of the year. I've played an hour and like it's definitely engaging and hooked me. But I'm trying to get through other games first before I get to it.
It's currently has the highest Metacritic for a PS5 game right now.
I can believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we roll into what we're playing briefly before we get out of here tonight?
You talked about Valhalla. I'm playing some of that. And I will actually say I don't think it should be on any of the lists here.
Oh, shit.
Maybe Innovation. I don't like it.
Oh, wow. Really?
I think the combat is incredibly boring.
Mm.
It's very samey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually the most disappointing thing to me is just how the combat feels very shallow. Even with the we added a stamina bar, and it's like the way that the stamina bar is tuned makes all the fights the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got really tired. I actually switched the difficulty to easy. Just be like, I don't care. I just want to one-shot things and get through this.
Right.
Which was the opposite of how I felt with Odyssey. I really enjoyed combat in Odyssey.
Yeah. I'm sad.
I was actually pretty disappointed overall. I was just giving it more time, and I'm like, yep, this is. I'm seeing the limitations of their design, basically. After doing a couple bosses and stuff and being like, okay, this is all you can really do with this design, the way that this is tuned. So this is boring. Good to know.
Oh, I'm sad to hear that, considering how much on the same page we are about Odyssey. We would probably be on the same page about this too then. Oh.
Yeah, it just feels shallow. Like there's just not a lot of depth to the combat system.
Right.
But maybe I get there. You theoretically could get there later. Maybe if there's stuff in the skill tree that gives you more things to do. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
That kind of explains why I see you, for several nights playing Valhalla and then switch to Diablo and then switch to Iceborne.
Yep.
Now I understand.
Yeah, because then I went. Diablo had a new season, and then hey, that Explore startup page showed it to me pretty heavily. It's like, hey, new season of Diablo 3 starting on the PS5 home screen. And I was like, sure, let's go for this. And the reward sets for doing the season were really cool. They're very angelic looking sets. Mm-hmm. So I did a monk that got the Justice set. It's very Tyrion like. And I'll just say that the build that I put together with that set in general is just ridiculous. I was up to Torment 15 with it.
Damn.
And I could finish Rifts in about 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
Using that set.
Holy shit, dude.
Things just pop as I run around that build. Because again, I won't go into details on the specific mechanics, but it was just basically run as fast as I can across the map and let all my passive stuff and the one channeling skill I'm holding down just destroy everything as I go. It was a ton of fun. I think I got like 350 Paragon levels.
Damn.
So I put a bunch of time and just having a blast with it. Enough where I'm like, I got my fill for the season. It was cool.
Right. Yeah, that Explore bar.
Still a really good game.
That Explore bar got me too, because I was like, oh, the season's starting now. Great, I'll pop in. And I started a Demon Hunter, but I only got like level 5, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. I'm focusing on the game that I'm fucking trying to beat.
Yeah.
I'll come back to it.
And then I saw somewhere a person talking about Monster Hunter on the PS5 that you can put it. So it had options on the PS4 Pro for like resolution, graphics, and I think performance. Like you could do these different settings, and of course on the PS5 you can do those settings. But resolution being, I think on the PS4 Pro, it would do 4K 30 with resolution.
Right.
PS5 can do up to 4K at 60, solid 60, no frame drops.
And does it do 4K 60 off the external, or you have to put it on the SSD?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay. What are you playing it off of? Do you know?
SSD. I don't have an external.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I also don't keep a bunch of games installed all at once. So
yeah,
I've got like 5 games installed right now. So
the smallish hard drive's not really, or SSD is not.
No, I never filled up the PS4 hard drive. So when I'm done with a game, I just delete it because the save games don't go away.
Right, exactly.
So I'm just like, I'm not going to play this anytime soon, so let's just delete it. I don't need it sitting around. So I am not the person who keeps things downloaded. But they said it was like really good, and I know that like coming from my base PS4, like I enjoyed Monster Hunter a lot, but the load times were insane. And yeah, it was locked to 30 frames per second, and sometimes that could even drop a bit. And I was like, well, I want to see this. And so I installed it, got in there, and this resolution, I'm not playing at 4K, I'm just playing at 1080.
Yeah. But
it's rock solid. I can do whatever the hell I want, and I was like, oh, I remember this game was a lot of fun. There's an expansion for it. I was holding off. I guess I'll get it now. And the other 2 guys that I was playing with are like, yeah, we're going to get it as well. Because one of them just got a PS5 today from Best Buy.
He did? He got
it? Yep, he got one from Best Buy. He got it pre-Thanksgiving and it was delivered to the store today.
Wow, lucky dude.
Went picked it up.
Wow.
So yeah, he got his PS5. And it looks like we'll all jump back into it. And I've been playing, Iceborne. I picked up the expansion. It was on sale during their Black Friday time, and I remember why I love that game so much.
Right.
Combat's incredible. Monsters are incredible. I had to relearn how to play, which wasn't so incredible. But
there's a lot to
relearn. I feel competent again. I'm actually defeating monsters again, and it's surprising how quickly that instincts came back to play that game.
Right.
And then I realized how much stuff that had come out just free for the game since I had stopped playing. And there's so many just little things that I can do, even before jumping into Iceborne. Although I've started progressing down that storyline. But it's also a bit hard because Iceborne is effectively master rank. There's different ranks in the game. There's like a low rank, high rank, and now this master rank. And it effectively resets the strength of monsters in some way. Think of it as, it's not new game because the story just continues, but it's like, guess what? All those old monsters you fight at master rank are harder than they were before, and there's a bunch of new monsters as well. Enjoy. Figure it out. So I spent a lot of time tweaking my gear and getting kind of the base level of master rank gear so I can start taking on the master rank hunts. But it looks gorgeous still. It has probably some of the best animation in a game that's come out in the last few years.
Huh.
God, it's just the character animation and the monster animations are so good. And very, very smooth. Very video shareable whenever you pull off cool things in that game.
Yeah. One is so much nice. I feel like the PS5 media share is just nice to be able to say like last 15 seconds, last 30 seconds, last 5 minutes or whatever. It's just a little.
Yeah.
It seems snappier to share.
Yeah. But yeah, the game loads super fast.
Awesome.
When on the SSD.
Right.
Like holy shit, and it looks amazing. And plays amazing. So one thing the PS5 has really done is show me that like all these old games that you have, they're just better on the PS5. You can just play them on PS5. It's good.
And I hope a lot of the devs go back and kind of just unlock the frame rate.
Yeah.
Or do some sort of patch. Like famously, whatever in Bloodborne is 30, and it's capped at 30 no matter what, unless the devs go.
There's a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think a lot of those devs may consider doing it. Like, probably the biggest hole to that is just having to get their game the patch certified, which is mostly just it's not a hard thing. It's just a logistical thing that takes time, and I think a lot of places just won't want to do it. They want to deal with it from a production standpoint, just tracking to make sure that it gets through and everything's okay. So
yeah, I can see that.
I see that because I see us doing on Entrepreneur updates over time, and we're like, man, dealing with Sony is a pain in the ass. Their cert system is a process.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
It's funny because I'm currently playing a PS4. Well, I guess it's a PS5 game now, but a PS4 game as well. But before I get there, and the last time we talked, obviously we took an unintended hiatus last week. I've played and beat Astrobot, which is, I know that you played it and put it down, but of all four of us, actually, I'm the only one that has just loved it. It's phenomenal. It's fucking phenomenal, and it really does show the haptics. But I love the speed runs. I found every collectible. I did every fucking thing you could do in that game and just wanted more. And then I switched over to Miles Morales, which is like the perfect Spider-Man game. I love it like 1,000 times more than Spider-Man 2018 because it is focused, tight, instead of like just one example, like the gadget wheel in Spider-Man 2018 is like 8 or 10 items, and it's kind of like almost unwieldy to kind of like figure out where to go and which one you want to use in the particular heat of the moment kind of thing, versus Miles Morales has 4, and it's just much easier to just quickly pivot to which one you want to go use and then move on. He has Venom powers, which is basically this electrical shock power, which is just fucking awesome. And of course the traversal. The story is just, it moves, and it was really I cried at the ending. It was emotionally resonant with me. I fucking love that game. And then I planned to pivot to Demon Souls, and then had read about No Man's Sky, and I just wanted to see what it looked like. I wanted to see what the richer foliage and denser planets looked like. Having zero intention of actually playing the game, just wanted to see what it looked like and how fast the load times were. And I cannot stop thinking about that game. It is, it's always been a good game, but it is like quick load times. It looks goddamn gorgeous. 4K 60, really dense, not really too many. I've had a couple little tiny bugs, but mainly it's just, it's just that rich sandbox game, and I'm just having so much fun and realizing now that I'm actually not even through the tutorial yet. I'm just now finishing the hyperdrive, which is basically the end of the tutorial. I got resource farming and just going to different planets and finding all of the fauna, just discovering. I just went on a discovery binge because I just wanted to see what everything looked like. So then I was like, well, I might as well just find all the animals. And then I realized, I actually have tasks to do. I should probably go do those things. And I'm trying really hard. I'm going to play this until I'm done. I'm trying really hard to stay on the golden path so that I can, now that I remembered about it, I think it's like a 30-hour game in that way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I would like to see the end and understand like what the game's about, because man, it's fucking great. Dude, this is a game that I can see myself not deleting from the hard drive in the same way that I don't delete Diablo, like a game that I just hop into every once in a while,
I felt the same way. I booted up the day after I got my PS5. Just because the people, like, it was one of the games that had a PS5 version.
Right.
And yeah, the PS5 version is incredible. There's something to be said about like the denser foliage and the much farther draw distance, and no real performance issues doing any of that. Which in one of the things, like when you talk about exploration, a big draw distance really helps exploration.
Oh yeah.
Because you can be up on a mountain and be like, I want to go. What's that over there? I can see it. It's not being cold or fogged out. And it really, I mean, you learn that from like Breath of the Wild. Even they did their magic so you could do that and see stuff at very far distance, so that you can always have something you're trying to go find. And so I think any exploration game that can like push their draw distance to the horizon basically just improves their game tenfold. And
yeah, I mean, I definitely get Breath of the Wild vibes in the I see something over there. What is it?
Yeah.
And wanting to just go, and I get lost, man. I get fucking lost in that game.
Well, at one point you'll get your hyperdrive, and then we might be able to do stuff together.
That would be great. If I could visit someone else's base, I could get a trophy.
Yeah, actually, there's a trophy. I haven't done that trophy. Right. Should do that. I think my son has that trophy.
Of course he does.
Because yeah, he plays with his friend. That's like the main game they play together.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's either that or Minecraft Dungeons is what he plays with his friends.
Yeah.
So
I can see you playing, man, No Man's Sky. Just, it might be a 2020 thing. It might be like just the getting lost in the same way they did with Ghost of Tsushima, just running through the forests, just being transported. It is fucking awesome. And I just landed on this planet that's mainly water and just like islands, archipelagos throughout. And it's just like, yep, okay, I'm gonna make a base here. And this is probably not gonna be my permanent base, but I'm really digging this. It's a I found one that has like low sentinel and totally lush, and it's sandy beaches and water.
That's cool.
Which I haven't played since the Abyss update, so I didn't even know you could go underwater. And now I'm going underwater and exploring. And
yeah, I haven't done much with anything underwater. Like that's the thing, playing it. There's so much that you can do there. It's just that I haven't done.
It's all new, even though a lot of it is not.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I'm super excited to get there and play again tonight.
Nice.
Get my hyperdrive finished tonight for sure.
There you go.
Start warping. Yeah, so that's episode 269, Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm at a Prof Plays Games on Twitter. He is at Summer Speak. If you like our podcast, please tell a friend, rate us on your podcast service of choice, share us on social media. Also delete Facebook, so share us first, then delete it, I guess.
You can share us on TikTok.
Oh
maybe.
My gosh, I'd love to see Prof and Dev Play Games on TikTok. I don't know what that would look like.
I have no clue, but I'm sure it'd be great.
Yeah, content. Everything is content.
Yep.
All right, folks, we will see you next week. Is the Game Awards coming up this week, actually?
December 10th, same day Cyberpunk comes out.
Oh, fucking hell. All right.
Yeah.
Who's going to be watching it? They'll be playing Cyberpunk?
I know. I saw a thing with Jeff Keighley. He was like, yep, that's happening.
Awesome. All right, folks, we'll see you next week.
All right, later all.